Are you the type of person that's obsessed with growth? You read all the books, you go to all the classes, you do all the things. Some of you might have seen that I recently reviewed an event that I went to called Offer Mastery Live with Myron Golden. A lot of you have subscribed because of it. Thank you. And some of you may not know, but I'm also in Dr. Benjamin Hardy's Rapid Transformation class. Now, Dr. Benjamin Hardy spoke at Offer Mastery Live, and in this video, what I want to talk to you guys about is, if you're the kind of person that's searching for a hero, or you're looking for the next book, or you're looking for the next class, I want to talk about the fallacy of that, because nobody is coming to rescue you. Actually, there is one person, and I want to talk to you about that person. So I think a lot of times growth-obsessed people can hide behind the books or the courses or the live events and just jumping right in. The reality is there's no one coming to rescue you. I'm having this conversation because I am looking at myself at these events or in Rapid Transformation class, which we just had our Friday call here, and I'm like, so many of us, we order the class and then it's like we do it for posterity, thinking that in some way it's like the education system, right? And I think we've been trained where it's like we get the piece of paper, we went to the class, we did the thing, and now we're better. Or I read the book, it's on my bookshelf, and therefore I know what's in it. But knowing and doing are two separate, totally different things. And doing yields fruit, right? Like Myron's model of be, do, have, right? That model is so good. Like being eventually trickles down to having, but there's this process in the middle called doing. And so what I want to talk about is how people like me, people like you, we can find ourselves in this position where we're like, why aren't things happening as fast as I want? Like, why, I can find myself thinking in this thought pattern of like, oh, if I just get that course, that might be the unlock that I need. And it's not that there's not truth in that, but the reality of it is the only person that's coming to save you, it's not Myron, it's not Dr. Ben, it's not some other author, it's not James Clear from Atomic Habits, it's not Andrew Huberman, it's not impact theory. The only person that's coming to save you, the hero of your story, is you. And I think once you realize that, once I realize that, we can go into these courses with a higher level of intention, and we can process the material, like in Dr. Ben's Rapid Transformation class. As a side, if that's something you guys are interested in me reviewing, put something in the comments, let me know. But that class is really hard for me. There's a lot about it that I don't like doing. But behind what I don't like doing is a lot of times exactly what I need to be doing to get where I want to go. So Myron Golden talks a lot about the payoff or the transformation. Dr. Hardy talks a lot about impossible goals or your future self. But my question is, who is it that makes the future, who is it that makes impossible goals possible? Who is it that makes the payoff or the transformation happen in your life? Who kicks that off might be one thing, but who actually makes that manifest, show up in your life is you. Who actually makes impossible goals possible is you. And so my question is, and then this is coming up too, not just from being at Offer Mastery Live last week and not just from being in my Rapid Transformation class, but I have an incredible list of people that I have as accountability partners that I work with, and they help me, and we try to help each other get unstuck. And so in my conversations with these people, one of the things that keeps coming up is like, can you really help others? Like, thinking about the airplane, right? They always make you put your mask on before somebody else. Can you really help other people if you can't help yourself? It sounds really remedial, right? Really simple. But what does that look like? If your behavior is, and you are aware of it, you are going through relearning the same lesson. You're like in whatever it is, 101, but then you're reading all these books, doing all these things, and you're growing in these other areas of your life, but maybe in relationships or in some other aspect, you're like just stuck on 101, repeating the same lesson. Like, can you really help other people? Now I covered Solomon's paradox, which is basically your life can be a train wreck and you can help other people because you might have a coach's perspective while they're a player. And so they're on the field, they're doing the thing, your different perspective can help other people. But that was my question this week with my accountability partner, was like, you're making so many strides and leaps in your life, but there's this one area where you just keep repeating the same mistake. How dedicated are you really to your growth? So growth is still key, but it's how you frame it. And how you frame it translates to how you implement, which is the critical component, right? It's where the rubber meets the road. It's the implementation. And so I like how Myron talks a lot about borrowing belief, or, other people will talk about borrowing perspective, borrowing frameworks and strategies, all these things. I'm not suggesting that you stop growing. I'm suggesting that you open your mind to an awareness, and that awareness should change when you open a book or you take a course, realizing that Myron's not going to do it for you, that I can't do it for you, that whoever is not going to do it, the growth for you. They're not going to meet the rubber in the road for you. They might give you an engine tune-up. They might get you ready to go. They might prepare you for your mental track day or whatever your purpose in life is. But they're not going to be the person to implement. You have to do that. And so it requires a level of intentionality when we are going to these courses. And it's relevant because coming back from Offer Mastery Live last week, I'm like going through my notes and I'm transcribing them, and it's like, it's a whole lot more comfortable for me. It's to like have 5 cups of coffee and revert to my old ways and forget and not transcribe my notes. It's so easy. I can feel being pulled back. And I forget how Myron words it, but it's like it's more painful to repeat what wasn't working than it is to go through the pain of trying to remember all these things from the event and trying to transcribe them and trying to get juice and value out of them, especially for me because I don't exactly have a place to implement all of the things I learned from Myron. And so I'm trying to give them to other people and trying to share these nuggets. So borrowing belief, borrowing perspective, borrowing frameworks and strategies, you don't stop growing, you just change your frame on being very intentional with implementation. When you're opening that book, starting that course, what is it that you're going to take away with? One thing, at least one thing that you want to walk away with. And so how can you tell you're stuck? How can you tell you're looking for a hero? Maybe sometimes you're not aware of it. For me, I'm like very aware of it because I'm like, what's the next course? What's the thing that's going to get me, to my impossible goal? And I start thinking in this pattern. And more recently, talking to my accountability partner, I've realized about myself that I keep doing that. And it's only me that's going to get me to that impossible goal. No one else, maybe a who, right? Hiring somebody. But I'm the blocker. I am the problem. And so I think one of the ways that you can tell if you're stuck is not only that thought process, but I think I have a hyper awareness. I don't know if all of you are aware of your awareness, or you're thinking about your thinking, you're metacognating about what is going on in your head. So if you're not strong at that level of awareness, you might find yourself aware when your actions and your words are in conflict, they're misaligned, right? So like my friend, you might be saying you want to grow and you want this future self and you're working towards these goals, but then you're repeating these same habits and things over and over again that are, they're hurting you, and you think they're in a different arena. You think it's just in relationships, but it's actually spilling into your business. It's actually spilling into your family relationships. It's actually spilling into your whole life. And so when you find that you're out of alignment with your words and your actions, or your actions and your actions, you might do one thing and then you do another thing that is at conflict with it. It's contradictory. I think being aware of this hero's paradox is like super powerful, because then you can step back, you can become more intentional with the investments that you make in yourself, not just in terms of money and courses and things, but also more importantly, your time and attention. So I hope this helps you guys. This is something that's really relevant having come back from this course. It's really relevant going through these calls. I'm starting to realize that the only blocker between us and our goals, it's very often, if not almost always, the blocker is us. It's not some external thing. It's the way that we perceive a thing. It's our assumptions. It's all these little components, self-limiting beliefs. And so I hope this helps you, and I will see you guys in the next one.